12 Quonset configurations that finish under $50,000, and every one of them can read like an architect drew it. There is a condition attached, and I am putting it in the first 30 seconds rather than burying it at the end. Self-managed. Here is the envelope. Finished Quonset homes run roughly $37 to $50 per square foot when you manage the build yourself, which puts under $50,000 within reach up to about 1,000 square feet, sometimes 1,200. The kits themselves start at $6 per square foot. So the money is real. The look is the interesting part. And there is one surface inside every single one of these 12 that you are not permitted to skip. Building code requires it, and it happens to be the exact surface that decides whether the finished room looks expensive, looks like a shed. Almost nobody budgets for it. Start with the arithmetic that sets the boundary, because everything in this video lives inside it. A fully finished Quonset home at basic to mid-finish averages roughly $45,000 to $60,000 for 1,200 square feet. Divide that out and you get about $37 to $50 per square foot, self-managed. So the under $50,000 envelope covers footprints up to roughly 1,000 square feet comfortably, and 1,200 if you make disciplined choices at every line. One wrinkle worth knowing before you fall in love with a small footprint. The rate climbs as the building shrinks. Freight, end walls, engineering, and the permit cost about the same whether you build 400 square feet or 1,200, so a small shell concentrates those fixed dollars instead of spreading them. Small is cheaper in total and more expensive per foot. Now, two things I have to say before the list starts. First, nobody sells these as catalog plans. There is no plan number to order. Suppliers sell standard arch kits in set widths and 2-foot length increments, and every configuration in this video is assembled from those, with estimates drawn from published per square foot data rather than a brochure. Second, this is a luxury look, not a luxury build. Every plan here is a budget home. What makes them read expensive is that the money is concentrated instead of spread evenly across everything. You cannot buy luxury at $40 a foot. You can absolutely buy the look of it. That happens through exactly 3 levers. Learn them and all 12 plans make sense immediately. Lever 1 is the end walls, and it rests on a fact most people never hear. The end walls do not support the structure. Every curved inch of a Quonset is load path. The side walls are the structure, which is why openings for doors and windows are restricted to the flat faces, and why cutting into the curve means additional engineering and additional cost. But those 2 flat faces carry nothing at all, which makes them the only surfaces on the building where you have total freedom: masonry, stucco, stained wood, siding, or a full panoramic glass front, whatever you want. And they happen to carry your entire architecture, your entry, your view, your street face, nearly all your natural light. 2 walls, structurally along for the ride, deciding everything. Lever 2 is vertical volume. A 30-foot arch peaks near 15 feet, and that height is buildable space, not decoration. Lofts and mezzanines drop into a clear-span shell economically because nothing needs re-engineering to carry them. You are hanging a platform inside a volume that already exists. Height is the cheapest luxury signal in construction, and this building gives it to you for free. Lever 3 is the curve itself, finished. The standard method is a thin layer of plywood bent to follow the arch, then drywall and paint. What you get is a smooth, curved ceiling that no conventional house can produce at any price. Or you commit the other direction entirely and leave the steel exposed as the aesthetic. Both work. Half doing either one does not. One honest limit before we start. Glass ribbons running down the curved flank are renders, not buildings. Skylights are the real way to bring light through the arch. 12 configurations. Start at the small end. Plan 1. The glass gable studio. 16 by 20, 320 square feet, kit at the bottom of the band. One open room with the bathroom tucked against the back end wall. The lever is simple and ruthless. Put the entire design budget into a single glazed front end wall. One wall of glass on a small arch is the cheapest genuine luxury statement in this whole video, and it costs less than most people spend on kitchen cabinets. Plan 2. The guest arch. 20 by 24, 480 square feet. One bedroom, one bath, kitchenette along the rear end wall. The lever is a pair of finishes rather than a feature polished concrete floors and a run of skylights down the length of the arch. 2 decisions, 1 impression, and neither is expensive. Plan 3. The raised studio loft. 20 by 30, 600 square feet, with the arch lifted on side walls before the curve starts. The lever is the raise itself. Builders lift arches on sidewalls to gain vertical wall and headroom, and one documented design takes a 2 5-foot arch and raises it a full 8 feet. That single move turns a crawl-in sleeping shelf into a room you stand up in. Plan 4. The courtyard pair. 2 small arches facing each other across a deck, roughly 40 feet apart. The lever here is not inside either building. It is the space between them, an outdoor room enclosed on 2 sides, which costs almost nothing and does more for the impression than any interior finish you could buy. And you phase it. Build 1 arch now, live in it, add the second when the money exists. 4 down. Now the sizes most people actually live in. Plan 5, the longhouse. 24 by 36, 864 square feet, 1 bedroom at the rear. The lever is the uninterrupted sightline kitchen against one end wall, glass at the other, and nothing structural standing between them. Length is the cheap direction to build in an arch, since you extend by bolting on more 2-foot sections, so you are buying drama in the one dimension that costs the least. Plan 6. The mezzanine 1. Bed. 24 by 32 with a sleeping loft built over the kitchen and utility zone. The lever is double height living volume. You are not really adding square footage, you are revealing the volume you already paid for and putting the bed in the part of the building where the ceiling was doing nothing. Plan 7. The split arch. 24 by 40 with 2 knee-walled bedrooms at the rear. The lever is the knee walls themselves. Frame 12 to 18 inches inside the steel skin, they give you flat drywall, standard outlet placement, and normal door framing completely conventional rooms living underneath a completely unconventional ceiling. This is the plan for anyone who wants the arch overhead and ordinary bedrooms beneath it. Plan 8. The stone face. Any of the mid-footprints, with one change, a masonry end wall on the entry side. The lever is material weight at the front door. Because that end wall carries no structural load, you can build it out of brick or stone without engineering gymnastics, and it completely changes what the building is read as from the driveway before anyone has stepped inside. 4 more. These push the top of the envelope. Plan 9. The 2. Bed. 30 by 36, 1,080 square feet, 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. The lever is the full 15-foot peak with a properly finished curved ceiling plywood, bent to the arch, drywalled, painted. This is the top of the under $50,000 envelope, and it only stays inside it if you are managing the build yourself and holding mid-band choices on every line. Push the finishes and you leave the envelope quickly. Plan 10. The straight wall. An S model with straight sidewalls running roughly 10% above a standard arch kit. The lever is full usable wall. Art hangs. Bookcases sit flat. Furniture goes where you want it instead of where the curve permits. You are buying back floor space with kit dollars instead of finished dollars, and for some people that trade is obviously correct. Plan 11. The phased arch. Any footprint, shell, erected now, interior, finished in stages over 2 or 3 years. The lever is concentration. Finish one room completely rather than 4 rooms cheaply, and the building reads as done far sooner than the budget suggests. This is also the plan for anyone paying cash, which for reasons we will get to is more common with these buildings than you might expect. Plan 12. The shop house. Living space at one end, shop or garage at the other, all under one continuous arch. The lever is the transition between them, treated as a gallery wall rather than a partition. This is the most practical configuration on the list, and in my experience, it is the one most owners end up actually wanting. 12 plans. And every single one of them lives or dies on the same surface, a surface that is not optional. Follow the chain, because it ends somewhere most people never look. Curved steel will not accept batt insulation. The geometry refuses it. So closed cell spray foam is the practical option. And spray foam is a foam plastic, which triggers a code requirement. Building codes mandate a thermal barrier between foam plastic insulation and any occupied space, a covering that protects the foam for at least 15 minutes under standardized fire testing, with half-inch gypsum board serving as the standard-approved assembly. That is IRC Section R316 and IBC Section 2603.4, and it is described in the trade as the most misunderstood and most frequently violated code provision for spray foam. Inspectors red tag exposed foam regularly. So read what that actually means for your build. The interior surface of your arch is not a finish you can defer to Phase 2 while you live with bare insulation. It is a legal requirement of occupying the building. Now the turn. And it is the whole point of this video. You have to buy that surface anyway. So the only real question is which version you buy. Bare foam left exposed is both a code failure and the single ugliest thing in a metal building, lumpy, yellowed, unmistakably unfinished. Plywood bent to the curve, drywalled and painted, reads architectural. Wood paneling on the lower portion with paint above reads warm. A rated interior liner panel reads industrial and clean. Same mandatory line item. 3 completely different rooms. And there are alternative compliance paths, intumescent coatings, rated panel assemblies, but those are a conversation with your local building official, not with a YouTube video. The luxury look is not an upgrade you add. It is a bill you already owe, spent well or spent badly, which leaves the things no budget and no clever finish can fix. Start with the assumption sitting underneath all 12 numbers, self-managed. Hand any of these configurations to a general contractor, and the envelope breaks immediately. The labor is the discount, and there is no version of this list that survives full contractor pricing. If you cannot supply the hours, these are not your numbers. Then the category that quietly inflates every arch budget. End walls, base connectors, spray foam, and doors together add 25 to 30% over the advertised kit price. And notice the uncomfortable overlap. A glazed end wall is Plan 1's entire luxury lever and also Plan 1's largest single line. The thing making it look expensive is the thing making it cost more. That is not a contradiction, it is just the honest shape of the trade. Then the space tax. Full radius models surrender roughly 25 to 30% of floor area near the curved edges, where the steel leans in over your feet. Knee walls buy it back at interior finish prices. Straight sidewall models buy it back at kit prices. Either way, you pay. Permits can fight you. Many residential zones carry minimum roof pitch or aesthetic conformity rules that an arch fails on paper regardless of engineering. Call the county before the deposit and ask whether an arch residence is permitted by right or needs a variance. Financing is genuinely harder. Most conventional lenders decline these, and appraisers frequently classify arches as agricultural or temporary structures. That is precisely why Plan 11 exists. Phased cash is not a lifestyle choice for many of these builders. It is the available route, and the honest one. From the road, it is still an arch. The interior transformation is total. The exterior transformation is limited to 2 faces. 1 page. Here is the whole thing on 1 page. The envelope was real and it was conditional. Under $50,000, self-managed, up to roughly 1,000 square feet comfortably and 1,200 with discipline, at basic to mid-finish. 12 configurations, 3 levers, 1 mandatory surface. And now the pattern worth carrying out of this video, because it is the actual lesson underneath the list. Every plan here that reads expensive does it the same way, by concentrating money on a small number of high visibility surfaces instead of spreading it thin across everything. 1 end wall, 1 ceiling, 1 floor. The glass gable on a 320 square foot studio works for exactly the same reason the stone face works on an 864 square foot house. The eye lands somewhere, and that somewhere got the budget. That is not a Quonset trick. It is how budget architecture has always worked. The arch just makes it unusually cheap to try because the shell costs so little that there is money left for the surfaces people actually look at. So here is the verdict, worded exactly. You are not buying 12 plans for under $50,000. You are buying a clear span volume, 2 blank faces, and a legally required interior surface, and the 12 plans are simply 12 ways of deciding where the money lands. The shape itself was engineered to be dropped on bare ground and forgotten. 8 decades later, they are still standing all over the world. It never had an opinion about what happened inside it. 2 answers in the comments, and be specific. First, which of the 12 is closest to what you actually need? Give me the number. The comment section on these videos is a better planning tool than most people realize, and somebody with your exact footprint has usually already asked the question. Second, if you could only make one surface expensive, the end wall, the ceiling, or the floor, which one gets it? I read every comment, and I answer build questions personally. We cover alternative builds every week here. Real costs, real timelines, what works and what does not. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next build.